All right. So if you have questions along the way, I encourage you to use the Q&A box. I'll be happy to answer those as we go and at the end as well. And so again, today, the theme is really about taking back your time and automating everything that you're doing inside of your business. Ultimately, we only have so much time in our day. So, and our ability as investors really is about, how can we make more use of our time? Because where we make money, at least inside of my business, is by doing deals, right? So if we can do more deals, obviously that helps us scale up. But a lot of times, if you're like me, you can get caught in the minutia of the day-to-day stuff, whether it's returning emails, creating social media content, whatever your day-to-day routine, paying bills, it's just things start to get really stacked up on you throughout the day. And so I had this sort of breakthrough in my business about 5 years ago on how to be able to do this. And that's what I'm going to be talking more about today. So if you don't know me, just a little quick bio about me. My name is Ben Fredricks. You can connect with me on Instagram or Facebook at Benjamin Fredricks on Instagram. Nobody calls me Benjamin except my mother. But apparently there was another Ben Fredricks. So I'm an entrepreneur. I have businesses. I'm primarily a real estate investor. I've bought and sold hundreds of properties in the last 5 years, and I've created well over 100 notes. And I also have a couple dozen rentals and some Airbnb properties. So you can know I'm an investor. I'm busy. I have a lot going on. I also own Noteworthy, which you are here attending today. So, so that also keeps me pretty busy, putting out content, putting on events and all of those things. So, and then I also do some e-commerce focused on Amazon FBA. So what I'm covering today is really efficiency. Like, how can you get more efficient inside of your business using proven systems and processes? You all have systems and processes inside of your business. Whether or not they're efficient is really up for debate. So that's what we're going to look at today and sort of analyze as we go. And I'm going to give you some of the exact systems that I use inside of my business. So hopefully that's okay, and you guys can get some use out of these. Little housekeeping before we dive into that. Just a reminder, if you haven't gotten your ticket for our Note Investor Summit happening February 24th and 25th in Anaheim, I encourage you to do so. It is going to be the only live event that we're doing this year. So I really hope we get to see you out there. If you go to the link you see on the bottom of the screen, noteworthyusa.com/add-on-offer, there's a special offer there for you guys just for attending today. So, but I've got some amazing speakers lined up that I think are just going to be some of the best we've ever had. I'm really excited about it. The room only holds 100, so we can keep it a little bit more intimate, have a lot more Q&A, and really dive deep into some stuff when it comes to notes. I also have somebody coming that's going to be talking about subject to investing and how you can add that, lease options. And then a good friend of mine is going to come give like a master class on raising private money. So you can get all the private money you need to do deals this year and beyond. So moving into this, if you were like me as an investor, especially when you're starting out, like I was like the Beatles, right? Working 8 days a week. G David, let me go back here. Just make a note of this. If you need to take a picture of it with your phone, noteworthyusa.com/add-on-offer. But I will send this out after the fact with the recording of the webinar so that you will have it as well. Okay. Anyway, so like Paul McCartney and John Lennon, I was working basically 8 days a week, from 8 until 10, and even Saturdays, Sundays, like it was just nonstop. No matter where I was working. So I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but it was a problem. And I was in a position where I had a new baby. My daughter, she was less than a year old, and I'm diving into this real estate thing full force. I'm just like, go, go, go all the time. And let me smash this goal and do the next thing. And, that's only sustainable for so long. And before you start to sacrifice your relationships and the things that matter the most to you. So you saw that picture of me, my wife, and my daughter. Those are the things that matter most to me in this world. And I wasn't giving them the attention that they deserved because I was never present. I was always on this thing, like checking out, responding to messages. Who's going to buy this property? What are the terms? We sell a lot of deals on seller finance. So I was communicating with people constantly, like reviewing applications, going through income docs, all this stuff. Plus, I had an ancillary business that I was doing where I was working with other investors to help them underwrite their seller finance deals because I was a RMLO. And so it just got unsustainable. And I was like at my wit's end. And I was on my way to a conference in Dallas. I think it was maybe a Note Expo or something like that. And I was just on the airplane writing out all of the things that I was doing and how could I get rid of these and get them off of my plate. And you start to, if you've never gone through this exercise, I highly encourage you to do it, is where every day inside of your day for at least 3 days, better if you do it for a week, is write down every single thing that you do. All right. It doesn't matter if it's you got up and went and got a drink of water, you went to the bathroom. All right, I sent an email. Write down every activity that you do. And this is what you've heard of a bucket list. This is what I call an F-it list. I'll keep it clean. But, all right, which of these things can I get off of my plate? Can I delegate this? Can I chuck it? Can I leave it behind completely? Or is it something that I need to be doing? And it's an amazing exercise because what I realized was about 95% of my day, I was doing things that I didn't need to be doing. I could have somebody else do this for me. So I could focus on doing the things that I wanted to. And you wouldn't believe the change that had. All of a sudden, I'm not present with my family. And I found a solution. And the next thing you know, I'm able to take days to go to Disney, where I never would have been able to do that before. So unfortunately, I live in Orlando, close to Disney area. So it's easy for me to go. But to do those things would be difficult if I didn't make the changes that I'm going to share with you guys today. And this is exactly what I felt like, and maybe some of you do too. If you can relate to that, put it in the chat box, please, because this was my every single day. It felt like Robert Kiyosaki talks about getting out of the rat race. If you know the quadrant, right, where you are trying to move from becoming an employee to self-employed to investor, it's a difficult move because a lot of times you're thinking, all right, nobody can do this as good as I can, right? And you're stuck in this wheel. It just doesn't change. So how do we break this trap of being an employee to our business? Again, I wrote out everything. You need to do this too. Write out every single thing you do for 1 week. This is what helped me exponentially. And then I started thinking about, all right, what's the average income in the US? It's about 60 grand a year. And the average real estate investor is about 100 to 150, or about $50 to $75 per hour. All right. So if you think about it, if my time is worth $50 to $75 per hour, maybe more, should I be spending it doing things that don't cost that much per hour? It's really something to think about. So you got, again, I'm kind of ahead of myself here on these, but which of these are in your day worth $50 to $75 per hour, which are not? The things that are worth the $50 to $75 per hour are closing deals, right? It might be underwriting your deals the way that you do. It might be, you networking and raising private income or private money. So you have to determine where your best time is spent within your day. So again, you have to identify which of these things you must continue doing, which you should not, and you can delegate, and which of these tasks can you remove completely from your day. All right. I guarantee we're all wasting time in some way, shape, or form. All right. It's just a matter of how much. All right. Are we looking at the news on our internet, on our phone? Are we scrolling Facebook? Are we scrolling Instagram? Are those things that we can remove completely from our day? If so, you need to get the discipline in order to be able to do that. But if there are things that you can delegate, like returning emails, paying bills, doing bookkeeping or accounting. You need to make note of those. So begin screen capturing these tasks. And then what I did was I started creating just one process a day, and I would create a training video. So let's say, for instance, that one of the first tasks that I had my virtual assistant do was how to add a property to our website. All right. So all I did was got Screencast-O-Matic. All right. I think it's either free or it costs like $10. I don't know, but it's an app you can get right on your computer. Well, it will screen capture exactly what's on your screen, follow your mouse, it'll highlight your mouse, and you can record audio as you're doing something. And then all I did was I created my own company YouTube channel that only I and whoever I delegate to would have access to. So this exercise, essentially what it resulted in was hiring our first VA, our virtual assistant, a virtual bookkeeper, and then eventually an operations manager, somebody that I could have that would oversee all of that. So they're like my right hand. The business does not run without them. I need them inside of the business now. But all of these pieces are integral into this business, and they free up so much of my time I can't even explain to you guys. So how do you know when it's time to hire help? Well, number one, you should have created some assets, right? You should have a website, maybe a sales funnel system, a lead source system, and you probably are going to want to have some disposable money involved in your business that can cover some salary and expenses for the next 90 days, especially with what I'm about to show you. Okay. What I'm going to show you is more about bringing in a lot of leads into the system. You may not need that. All right. What I want you to think about here is like, you may need this for an administrative assistant standpoint. You just need somebody to handle like the paperwork and some additional tasks within the day. So not all of this is going to be applicable, but what I want you to think about is, all right, what kind of help do I need, and who can I do to find the job? All right. So I started looking at a couple of different things. I looked at in-house, like, can I hire somebody? And then I also looked at virtual. So with in-house, I had to make some considerations like, all right, first of all, I'm going to have payroll taxes, a lot of extra paperwork, Social Security, insurance, maybe overtime benefits. I do have to cover office space. Like, I'm going to have to get a bigger office space in order to have somebody in our office. I might need extra equipment like computer, phone, things like that. They might be limited to a specific skill set or staff. I might have to provide additional training. There's also going to be a cost to hire, right? So it costs money to find good people. Like if you've ever tried to hire somebody, you go on any of these websites like Indeed or whatever, you have to pay. And then guess what else is happening? It's costing you time because you're having to interview a lot of these candidates. So it might take you hours a week to interview, and do maybe a second interview until you find the right person. All right. And then weekend and evening work can be difficult. It's going to be more expensive. And quite frankly, they may waste your time and your money at work. All right. People have been known to do that. So when I started looking at virtual, I'm like, okay, there's no related taxes, paperwork, insurance, or benefits that I need to pay. There's no extra office space or equipment that I need. Weekend and evening hours are available if I need them, right? They have an ability to stay on schedule, and then I can use the difference and create more marketing dollars to make more money, which is why we're all into this, right? So those are the main differences between having somebody in-house and having somebody virtual. Now, a lot of America is virtual today, right? Like after COVID hit, like a lot of people are working from home. So, but some of this stuff still applies because you're still going to have payroll, taxes, and Social Security and all that kind of stuff. So where can you find a virtual assistant? Like if you do want to hire somebody that's remote or virtual, where can you find them? So let's go through this. One is Fiverr. Fiverr is, I use a bunch, right? So it's great for specific tasks that I might not have the ability to do. So, it might be creating some images. It might be creating a logo. It might be chopping up some video content. that I have. Those are just things that I might be able to do, but they're too time consuming in order to get done. And somebody can knock one of these out in a day, sometimes even less, right? The other choice is Upwork. Upwork, I find to be a little bit more professional than Fiverr. Like I found my my bookkeeper on Upwork. Guy from Pakistan does an amazing job, and has worked out for me so well. Like I was literally spending nights and weekends trying to keep up with bookkeeping. And look, you guys, if you've got any number of notes, like once you have a good amount of them, you just know it becomes impossible. And I was flipping also, 20, 30 properties a month on top of that. So to keep up with all the deposits going out, the wires coming in, the wires going out, it was just, I was losing my mind. So you see, I have a lot of gray hair. A lot of that came from that particular time period. So, but Upwork is a great tool that you can use. And also with Upwork, like we were doing some development work on our Salesforce platform. Like Salesforce, I'm not a fan of. In fact, we don't even use it anymore because it's way too complex and it's not out of the box. So, but we were having to do some development. Like they're like Salesforce wanted to charge us tens of thousands of dollars more just to get it to do what we needed it to do. And so we went to Upwork and hired somebody overseas, and they did it for a fraction of the cost. So what I'm going to share with you next is how we actually use VAs inside of our business. So first of all, they do admin work for us. They answer our phones. They handle filing our paperwork. Like I said, they do our website maintenance. They do editing and some posting to social media for me if I need it. Some of that stuff I tend to like to do on my own, but if I need to chop up some video content, they do help me with that. We buy a lot of properties at auction, so they help us pull available properties that fit into our buy box so that we're not wasting time going through lists. Like that saves us an exorbitant amount of time just on a monthly basis. They give us the link to the auction, they pull the comps, they pull the tax information, they pull the rental prices, and they know based on our buy box, here's our max allowable offer, right? So we get a spreadsheet every single week that has all this information on it. So all we do is review it very quickly and say, all right, instead of us looking at 50 properties, now we're looking at 7. And how quickly can you take action on 7 versus 50 and go through and say, all right, that one, I like 4 out of the 7. We're going to make our bids, and they actually follow up on those for us. With seller financing, because that's really my MO, do a lot of seller financing, note creation. So they're helping us with gathering applications, submitting the info to our underwriters. We use Call the Underwriter, right? So, and they're gathering underwriting conditions for us. They're preparing the collateral file. So if we want to sell this note, we have everything in order that we can. They're help posting our note for sale if we decide that it's something that we want to sell. And then they're communicating with note buyers that are maybe interested in buying those particular deals. So all of this stuff, like I've had to get progressively better at. Like I know there are people on here that have bought notes from us, and you know this about me. Like initially, if you looked at one of our earlier notes and you look like at one of our newer notes, you could see the difference in the file. It wasn't because we didn't necessarily know what we were doing. It was just because there was no organization. Like nothing had a process. There was no system. So I had to really create all this stuff and then give the exact playbook to my VAs. And then my operations manager had that playbook as well. And then they would inspect what we expected along the way. They also help us with dispositions. So we don't keep every property. We don't turn every deal into a seller finance note. So they help us build a buyer's list. One of my VAs, that is his entire job, is to build a buyer's list every single day. He's adding people to our list. Why does that matter? Well, because buyers change. We're possibly heading into a recession, like my crystal ball's broken, but people that are buyers in this recession were probably not the same people that were buyers 2 years ago. All right. So my buyer's list has to evolve. And I can't keep building my buyer's list if I'm not on the phone every single day talking to people that are in markets where we're buying deals. All right. They're pulling the latest comps and cash buyers. All right. They're emailing out deals. They're getting MLS listings set up for us. They're generating offers. They're securing proof of funds, manage property showings, and they oversee our closing process. Right. So think about all these things inside of just doing one deal. It adds up to a lot of time. Right. And now my time inside of each of this is really limited to, at the closing. Like my time is like, okay, I got to sign in front of a notary and that's done. I haven't quite figured out how to eliminate that just yet, but for the most part, I've got all of this other stuff off of my plate over the years. They also help us with note acquisitions. Again, we're building a buyer's list. We're pulling comps and cash buyers, emailing deals, ordering BPOs, ordering title work, analyzing the collateral file, seeing it, going through our checklist, seeing what's missing. They oversee the closing process and they help onboard it with our servicing company. With bookkeeping, I talked a little bit about this. My bookkeeper, I literally have like 15 LLCs. He's pulling in all the bank statements, uploading them to QuickBooks, managing all the income and expenses, reviewing business financial needs. He's talking with my CPA on a monthly basis so that they're in constant communication about the proper structure and making sure we're following all the rules and getting tax breaks where we can. So all this stuff, again, is off my plate. I just have to meet with them. I meet with them once a month and say, all right, where are we at? What's going on? Like, what do we need to adjust and all that? But beyond that, it's completely off of my plate. They help with direct to seller marketing, which is going to be the bigger part of this. All right. So again, some of this, it may apply to you, some of it may not, but I just want you to, I went through all of that to get to this, but all of those things that I just showed you, think about how somebody could help you with those inside of your business. So they pull lists in our market, they skip trace, they handle the texting, they do the property analysis, they handle acquisitions. I even have somebody that negotiates for me to buy deals. They do the contracting, they do the follow-up. I've automated all of this, right? This is like game changer stuff, you guys. So let's start with marketing, because if you don't have deals, there's no sales and there's no business, right? We're in this to make money. We got to close deals. So it has to start with marketing, and marketing does not stop. So this is from a couple months ago, but this is my marketing assistant. And this is how our reports look that they send to us. So in 1 week, she sent about 2,800 texts, which created 126 new leads, right? So I'm getting this at the end of every single day and telling me what she got done and what they have to work on. Pretty exciting stuff. So here's what it cost me to generate those. So monthly full-time salary was about $1,100. My list was $50. It cost me $800 to skip trace it. My texting platform cost me $500. And so my total invested for that month was about $2,500. If you had 126 new leads, like how many would you need to close just to pay for that one VA system for the month? Like it takes us less than one deal in order for that to happen. So, not every lead's going to convert right now, but some of them are going to convert over time. We've had some of those leads, I guarantee, in September, they didn't close until December. Some might not close until next September, but they're constantly being reviewed and followed up on. So how many tired landlords could you find, right? A lot of you are note investors, and some of you are maybe just wanting to buy, tapes of notes from tapes and stuff like that. But listen, you got to get creative in your acquisition process, because those tapes, they're not always, ripe for the picking. And a lot of people, they're highly competitive. So how are you going to find other deals that, supercharge your business and keep it going? So how many tired landlords could you find? How many subject to deals could you find? This is a big one right now. I've done several subject to deals over this last year, and they're producing literally free cash flow, guys. Free. Like I didn't have to put any money into the deal. I got money, and now I'm getting free cash flow every single month. How many wraparound notes could you find? How many deals could you find to wholesale to someone else that has the dollars to do it at the time, or JV? How many could you partner on? So let me give you guys some tools to use. Okay, you might want to screenshot this with your phone. All right. So if you want to do get a great service on skip tracing, go to noteworthyusa.com/skip trace. Direct Skip is who I use. They are fantastic. Like their hit rate on skip tracing is like higher than 98%, which is really great. If you like to scrape data, I scrape data from Zillow like almost daily. We get data from Zillow, right, in the markets that I want to buy from. So if you go to noteworthyusa.com, scraping Zillow, you can enter in your parameters in terms of what you want, whether it's new listing, new rentals, new pre-foreclosures, whatever it is that you want to generate from Zillow. This service, Scraping Solutions, can scrape it all for you from the website, deliver it straight to your VA, and they start working the list. It's really phenomenal. Same with Craigslist. All right. So if you can also have them scrape Craigslist for you on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. For texting, I use Smarter Contact, noteworthyusa.com/texting. Take you right there. And, very simple process to use. And our VA, again, they handle all of it. So imagine sending out like several thousand texts. Like how long of it would that take you? Like she's literally sitting there just texting people. That's her only job, is to text people and generate leads for us. Here are some more tools for you to use. I don't know if you use Landglide, but this is a great way to find out a nearest neighbor for any asset that you own or you are looking to own. List of hedge fund, Airbnb owners, business owners, apartment owners, et cetera, et cetera. You can go to exactdata.com. They have a minimum order. I think it's like $750 maybe, something like that, but it can pull a highly targeted list. So if you're looking for something very, very specific to go after, that is a fantastic tool. And then if you are into turnkey and rental buyers, finding those people, you can go to lofty.io and roofstock.com. Yes, we will be sending out the recording to you. So I got you. All right. Any questions about those tools so far? Hopefully I didn't go too fast over those. If you got them, didn't get a chance to screenshot them, again, I'll send out the recording. But if you got any questions so far in the Q&A, don't hesitate to put those in. All right, so you can do all of this yourself, obviously, right? If you have the capacity to do these things on your own, you can definitely do that. Or you can duplicate our system, and you can do that with Apex Assistance. All right, this is a company that we've created that will, provide pre-trained VAs, people that can fit right into your system and start working for you. So we have a couple of different types of VAs, but right now I'm just going to talk about the marketing VA. But they're fully trained. They'll spend about 3 to 6 weeks learning our system. We run them through a DISC profile, so we understand their personality. Are they tailor fit to this? That we check their English, make sure that they're very solid on that. They're low cost. It literally costs $6.50 an hour to hire them. And then there's hundreds of candidates to choose from. And we basically will funnel those down for you. And then we'll provide you with 2 to 3 candidates to talk to and interview and see if they're a proper fit for you, your culture, and what you're looking to accomplish. So we have a marketing VA placement. Our placement cost is $9.95. You get 100% satisfaction, like your VA will complete your tasks, all that stuff, or we'll find you a new one. If they don't work out in that first 30 days, we'll find you a new one and retrain at no additional cost to you. So if you're interested in that, you can go to apexassistance.com and learn a little bit more. But if you click on the button in the upper right-hand corner, get started, you could basically schedule a call with our team and they'll review what your needs are and run through those and get the right VA or several candidates actually for you to talk with and see who would be the best fit for you. But today only, I sound like a used car salesman, but today, if you decide that's something you want to do, we would just charge you $4.95. Obviously, you might not make the call today, but if you were on this webinar, just mention it and we'll get you that discount. So in addition to that, we'll give you a year of our newsletter, our Noteworthy newsletter, access to all of our paid note tools. It's got some specialty calculators and stuff, and then a free ticket to the Investor Summit. So it's kind of a win-win deal. So again, this is what you're going to need in terms of budget. Think about this in terms of what you are going to need. You know, if you want to have one that's full-time, or if you want to start with one that's part-time, you can do that. Just kind of understand, like, all right, here's what you're going to need from a month-to-month basis, and make sure that you're fully prepared for that. All right, so if you go to apexassistance.com, you can join up with us and we'll get you a VA placed. Again, we have different types of VAs. It's marketing. We have just straight assistance. We have a bookkeeping VA that can help you. That one's a little bit more costly because they're more professional. All right. But yes, different things for different people and different needs. But if we can be of service to you, this is exactly what I do inside of my business. This isn't to, you know, I created this because I wanted to help more people scale up their businesses, because I see so many of you at our events and you're stuck. Like, getting to that next space, that next level is usually the difference of you getting out of your own way, right? So if that can be of help to you, you know, don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. Again, I'm happy to sit around and answer any questions if you have some about virtual assistants or anything else. Also, don't forget to connect with me on social if you haven't thus far. And I'm super excited for our event. I hope I get to see some of you there. Is anybody on here coming out to Anaheim? If you are, just put it in the Q&A box. I'd love to know if you're coming out. All right, guys. Any other questions that I can answer for you? What do I pay my VAs per hour? Yeah, they're $6.50 per hour is what they run. So I've seen some that are cheaper, but you pay for what you get. So just kind of know that, like, from a basic level. If it's a bookkeeper, I actually pay my bookkeeper about $20 an hour. So he's more expensive. But for the standard VAs, like the people that are handling my admin assistant, my people that are building my buyers list and running our auction stuff, and that, yeah, it's $6.50 an hour is what we pay them. Any other questions? Thanks, G. David. Appreciate you coming. We're gonna send out the link again, so I'll make sure that you got that. So actually, you know what? Maybe I can put that in here, right here. See, guys, I'm not the most tech savvy, so I do what I can. But yeah, if you have any other questions, go ahead and put them in the chat box. And I think I found it. So here we go. There you go. Hopefully you got that. Rodney, yes, our conference is in person only. So yeah, that will be just in person. Any other questions? I feel like I talked a million miles an hour, but man, I appreciate y'all coming. I'll be super excited to see any of you that come out to the event. And if not, stay tuned for our next webinar next month. I've got a lot of great stuff lined up in terms of content this year, people coming on webinars, also on our podcast. And by the way, if you are interested in appearing on the Noteworthy podcast, don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. I would love to have you on, talk notes, life, whatever you want to talk about. Glad to do it. So I'm always looking for interesting people to have on the show. All right, guys. Well, if there's no other questions, I'll let you get back to your day. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and look forward to seeing you soon.